Good morning. Welcome to LA Trade Tech real-time videos for summer 2014. I'm going to go through the whole series and exercises of how to do something very creative, very innovative with good design principles. So I ask you guys to read and become familiar with the Faborici series, which is a growth found in nature and the universe. So really quick here, this is your AutoDESK interface. That's your ribbon, and we're going to use some very simple commands. First of all, you're going to open a brand new drawing here. And then you're going to have your templates, and you're going to be using the CTB, which by using this, you're going to have automatically a grid and an architectural scale that will allow you to draw things as a preset. So you're going to go ahead and continue. And then notice here, so you have two types of grids, and this is divided in 5. So something that helps a lot of architects. Here under the settings, these are called your drawing settings. You're going to change this into 1 foot. So we're going to be drawing things that are 1 foot. And one more, go back, settings, grid command. And I want this grid to be 1 foot by 1 foot. And I'm going to have, so that means that your mouse is going to jump in between the grids. On the polar track, I want to be able to know when I'm drawing a square. So that means that we're going to be dividing this square into 2 triangles at a 45-degree angle. So we're going to go OK. So notice how the grid changed. So now it's still 5, but now these grids are 1 by 1. But still is not divided the way most architects think. We want to divide this into 4. So if you're doing 1/4 of an inch, you divide the inch in 4. Or it's a good way to kind of visualize space. If you divide your main grid here, you can see it. From here to here is now 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to start by drawing here a 1 by 1 square, right? So notice that this is actually, you go under the annotate command and you measure. You go from here to here, and that's actually 4 feet, right? Or you can go here under and then start with the Faborici series, and you can read more about it, and that's 1 by 1 square foot. So notice that because of my grid settings, because this is on and off, you can make the grid appear and disappear. So the Faborici series is that you have a 1 by 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, then 2 plus 1 here will give you 3. So this is, and you basically are just drawing the series of squares that have an interesting proportion. Then you're going to have 3 plus 2 is 5. And that's called a series, a sequence. And you can read a lot about some very cool videos I have on my website by the Khan Academy. And then you're going to have 5. Let's delete this one. So you're going to go ahead and highlight it with the left button and press the button delete. And then you're going to go here, and 5 plus 3 is 5. And notice here how, because of my polar tracking, I can see when I'm drawing a square. So this is, you might say, like, what is all about this kind of proportion? It's a very interesting proportion that we are wired to feel comfortable when we look at it. So this is all still a 2D environment. Here you can go under your viewing cube. You can look at this from multiple perspectives, from the top, the bottom, isometrics. So play with this cube. This is very magical. You get to learn a lot about how do we look at the world from an architectural perspective, but it's still all 2D. So what I'm going to do to these, you can do 2 things. You can extrude it into a wall, or you can extrude it into a solid. So what I'm going to do first, because I want to show my teachers the progress, besides doing print screen and save it into Word or PowerPoint, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to select all of these, right click, I'm going to go clipboard, copy with a base, choose this point, right click, clipboard, copy as a block right here. Right? And I'm actually going to do 3 of these because I'm going to give them different heights. And then one last one, paste as a block. Right? So now that I have all of these, now I'm going to extrude them. So I'm going to type the command here. This is called your command line. I'm going to go extrude. And it says, tell me what you want to extrude. I want to extrude all this line. Right? I like it. Enter. And then it's going to tell me, okay, select objects to extrude. I thought I selected it already. Right click, enter.
The command line, you can expand it to a couple more lines because it's giving you a prompt that's not visible.
Okay, so that's the command line, and I'm having some problems with the command extrude. So I'm going to try it again. So I'm going to go extrude, and I'm going to select this object. And it should, once I select it, I should say yes. It could be sometimes when you move this into a 3D, then it works. And then I go enter. See? So I don't know why sometimes the software, when you're on the top view, the extrude command doesn't dialog back with me correctly. So now that I move it into a 3D environment, you can see here at the bottom of the command, you have the height. You go up and down. And because we want to continue with those series, let's make sure that we do either 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 21, one of the Favoriti series sequence. So I'm going to go 5 feet. And that's it, enter. And then you look at it from the top view and it looks just the same. So the extrude command, sometimes when you convert it into a isometric, then the height command works. Or it could be me that I'm not reading the command direction correctly. But we're going to keep moving. And now you can do this one 5, you do this one 3, you do this one 2. So because of time constraints, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to create what I wanted you guys to do is a kit of parts. So now that you have all these different volumes, you are going to actually choose some of these and actually separate them so they become your kit of parts. So you actually move them, and you can just go repeat move. Thank you, Monica. From here to here. Choose it. She became an expert. Repeat move. And then you're just basically going to be moving all your parts outside the main composition, just so they become your kit of parts, right? So ideally you should have copied this one so you can show the process. This is 5, this is 3. And then once you have a kit of parts, then you're going to go ahead and start assembling them differently by just a very simple rule. Things can only touch at the bottom, the middle, and the end. So you're going to go right click, you choose that one, and then you can start assembling your 3D composition. You can rotate things too. You can go here under your rotate command, 3D rotate. You choose that one, right click, and then you can move on the X, Y, and Z. Notice how your object can be rotated. And this is called your coordinate system. And then you can actually manipulate these drawings. I'm going to show you an example of how these will look. So this is, once you created your kit of parts, you can see how you can create multiple compositions. I have another one here. See, so once you create 1, 3, 5, then you actually manipulate them, rotate them, and you create a composition that later on you can give it function. Some of these can be used for stage design. They can be some outdoor display centers. They can become landscape solutions. But you can see how they are beautiful just because we use a Favoriti series and we create a very simple principle that things can only connect in the middle, the center, the end. And any object can only connect to another 3 objects. You create these simple rules, and that's why architects create beautiful things, because they have a system and they have an order. Next video will be of how do we bring this AutoCAD drawing into 3D Studio, attach materials, and lighting and animation. Thank you.